Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to talk about all the shows, movies, documentaries released on streaming, give you our best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. Some shows are just garbage, it is what it is. And of course, at the end of the show, letting you know what's coming out so you too can create your very own watch list. We're actually going to give you 2 weeks worth of content because we're not going to be around for about 3 weeks. Life happens, it is what it is. So we're going to give you 2 weeks of stuff for you guys to kind of indulge.
You're not going to be around for
Be
the
on
next
couple
two
weeks.
weeks.
It is,
I'm gonna
it is
I'm
what
gonna
it
be here.
is. But we'll give you 2 weeks.
Party one. Erica Silva, reach
But
out to me. I'm
maybe
available.
give you, we'll
Mansplaining,
probably give you
nerd
3 weeks of
splaining.
shows coming out and all that for you guys to indulge while we're away. We're not gonna can't give you our reviews. It is what it is. Of course, that voice came from our lovely, lovely co-host, El Señor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
Hey, new co-host for nerd splaining. I'm
So
available.
nurse planning
Eric,
here,
give me a
which
call.
I gotta
Give me a
release pretty
call.
soon. But yeah, so we're here. We're back. We're here this week, so we're gonna move on. A lot of stuff coming in, coming out. Getting ready for football, fantasy, all that good stuff. But lo and behold, we got some really bad news, some surprising news. Shocking news, yeah, which we were
Shocking.
not privy to before. I don't think anybody was, except for those in the know in terms of the studios. So we're a little in memoriam. We're bringing the sad, sad passing of Winning Time, ending its 2-season run. Completely unexpected 2-season run, as soon as the finale dropped for season 2, they announced that it was being canceled. Surprising because I think I read up on it. The showrunner was advised to film some additional footage in case they were going to go that direction. In other words, wink, wink, we are going that direction. So the way, this season ended off, if those are familiar with, the history of the Lakers and all that, they ended up losing their first matchup in the finals against the Celtics, of course, Larry Bird. That's not the way you want to end the Lakers dynasty show, right? Because they play them the next year, they won, and 2 years later they won again. But they ended it that way, and they, tossed in those little writings, and they say what happens down the road and what happens to the team, et cetera, indicating that the show was ending. Which I was like, wait,
Literally an in
right? I was like,
memoriam.
well, wait, what am I watching? It's like,
Right.
this show can end like this. Doesn't make any sense. But apparently, it was canceled. Surprisingly, I guess costs were high. In regards to in relation to the viewership, I guess it's been a Sunday night show, and we talked about it before. Chewy, Sunday night is their marquee night. It's the the night where you
Yeah.
want to
Yes, it
shine
is.
through, and it's just probably different expectations. We talk about Warrior. It should have been on Sundays. It's on Thursdays, but expectations are different for a Thursday show than it is to a Sunday. So it is what it is. So Chewy, I like these 2 seasons of Winning Time. Good show, fun show. If you don't like basketball as a show, you can watch and enjoy it because that's cool characters and a good story behind it. The basketball is somewhat secondary to some degree. True, your thoughts on the seasons and wow, what happened with this?
No, I'm shocked, disappointed. I really enjoyed it. Um, I like the basketball, but I like the history behind it and kind of getting, I said a fictionalized history because obviously it's not
Of
100%
course.
accurate. It's not meant to be. But they were so interesting to see Magic Johnson and Jabbar and Riley and they were bringing in obviously James Worthy and Byron Scott and some other players. And like I said, at the mid '80s, this was the epitome of basketball, right? The rivalry, East versus West, Lakers versus Celtics. There was great drama, there was great TV, but obviously there was obviously story behind it and personalities behind all that. But unfortunate, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a
Time to
because
move
I
on,
mean,
I
if the
guess.
ratings weren't that good to begin with, why is it on Sundays at all? I mean, that's the question. That bears the question, right?
I
Um, yeah. So whatever. Sad passing. It is what it is. This is not really this was not a true finale per se. It was cancellation, whatever. They wrote it as a finale. So that being said, a lot of shows have ended this year. This is a year of literally ending in terms of season finales, not cancellations anyway. We got one coming
mhm.
up now, but this is as big as year as I've seen a show is ending its run this year with good shows too. We'll get into that in a minute. A lot of shows,
Yeah,
but we'll get into
a
that in a
lot of
minute.
shows.
But
Yeah.
that being said, it is what it is. I still recommend this show. I think it's a really cool show. Basketball fans or not, if you're a basketball fan, you definitely should watch it. Anyway, but yeah, it is what it is, true. But let's talk about the shows that we know are still ongoing or just got released, etc., etc. We'll start with a documentary. The first one here called "The Saint of Second Chance," which is on Netflix, about an hour and 20-minute docu-film. Really it's about baseball in essentially. You don't have to be a baseball fan to really enjoy this. Trust me. This one here following a Bill and Mike Beck. I'm saying that right. I don't know pronunciation still, but
Yeah.
Michael being the son of Bill, who bought the White Sox back in the '70s. White Sox were trash, and they're still kind of shitty, but they were really trash back then. So he got them, and he had love for the game, but more importantly, a love for the show, a love for people gathering in big numbers and enjoying something, right?
He wanted it. He wanted it to be. He wanted to
Right.
create a fun experience for the fans. He was
Yeah, he
one of the
wanted people that
fans. He
would
was one of the
enjoy, and
people.
so he created. He was
Right.
innovative. He created all these events and promotions, games, fireworks and home runs and luxury box. Yeah.
Every idea he threw out,
Oh yeah, the
they threw out
kitchen
spaghetti,
sink, you
and
name it.
they
Those
tried
all
it
in
all.
there. Some successful, some stuff that are used today. Like I mentioned, luxury box was his idea. Now that's prominent in Navy Stadium in any sport. Right. Yeah.
That's
You
like a
have
must for every stadium now.
exactly
That's like the
that. That's
big
where the
money
ballers
ticket
go.
for stadiums, right? Corporates boxes, and so he brought. He couldn't make. I mean, he brought these ideas, right, and worked, but obviously other teams took
Of
it
course.
and
Right.
and,
They
and made
tweaked
some
it
big
all, but
money
it all
out of
came from him and his son who it was it
it.
all ended because of a promotion went horribly wrong, and we spoiled it, but things went bad, and they left. He sold the team. The son left. He kind of not a recluse, but he was on his own, and he got a second. It was blackball, right?
Well, he was
Obviously, yeah,
blackballed. He was
exactly,
trying
and
to
he
find a
got
second
yeah,
chance, and no
exactly
team would give him a
until much
chance.
later. Yeah, he ended up.
And
Yeah,
yes, yeah, because he the son used this as a means to uh, fix his relationship with his dad, which was rocky before he bought the team, and that's probably been generous, where he was didn't have any direction, didn't know what to do, and this kind of gave him structure and direction and something and a passion
yeah.
for something, right? And on top of that, bonus of
Oh,
being with his
right.
father, through the
Absolutely.
5 6 years that they owned the team, and so this tells his story. And then again, second chances, how he came back and was able to get back into the game, right? At the
Yeah,
lowest level
he got a chance
possible,
to
but
own or
still,
run
he
a
used it.
independent league team.
Yeah, the
Minnesota.
no,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not St. Louis, I'm sorry, the
I think so.
Minneapolis
Yeah, I think
Saints. Yeah. Or St. Paul. I think
yeah.
maybe it's St.
Small
Paul.
city, small
St. Paul
place. Yeah,
Saints. That's
unknown.
what it is. Yeah. Independent league, but we well below, minor league baseball. But it's still, for a community, he was able to revitalize, refresh, and make it a big thing for that community by instilling a lot of these promotions and these things and making this a fun environment, right? That their pet
That's
pig,
right. He had a pet pig for the team, the team mascot.
the ball pig. Instead of ball
But
boy,
he
it's
gave,
ball pig.
it's called the Saints of second chances, right? And he got a second chance, and he gave second chances out and first chances to a lot of people, women to play baseball, and guys,
Mhm.
disabled who had no legs, so got a chance to go out there and play baseball and hit and all that. And Darryl Strawberry, who was a two-time MVP, best player at the time in the mid '80s, he went to shit a lot of drug issues, got pretty much blackballed from the league. He brought him on board, and he parlayed that into getting back into the show. Josh Strawberry went back to the MLB, and
Well, I mean, and essentially, he was able to I guess
his life,
rehab
him himself.
his persona, his life, yeah, and his why just like his dad. What was this all about?
Yeah.
This is for the fun of the game. It's not life or death. It's just a game at the end of the day. And was able to rekindle that him when he got a chance to go back to the Yankees that same year
Yeah,
and
won a
win
World Series.
another ring. And so, yeah, but this is, I
Of
mean,
course.
but this is a story about him and his family and his daughter and his son, and where one he had a good bad relationship because he was so dedicated to baseball, and one where he finally opened his eyes and was able to kind of fix that, right, and really parlay this into a very successful life that postmortem from the show he bought a number of these independent teams all over the place, right, and kind of instilling this his way of portraying entertainment for the people, right? Making it fun. You don't have to be a major league team to be successful, and
Yeah,
he
he's
clearly
a
showed
real
that.
geek. He's a character. He's funny. I love that guy. He has a great outlook on it, and it comes through when he speaks. Very very inspirational, very moving. There's a must watch the document. I really enjoyed this one. I was surprised how much I liked it. I thought it was gonna be kind of silly and gimmicky, and there being something a lot more, particularly with issues with the daughter, which I don't want to say anything, but it was interesting, fascinating, and again, second, yeah, a lot of fun, very
It's a lot of
enjoyable.
fun.
Absolutely, you guys,
A
it's
lot of
a
fun.
great one to watch. An hour and 20 minutes. Baseball fan or not, absolutely recommend this, no doubt about it. That being said, Chewy, let's move on to a film that came out. I know you didn't watch it, and I'm sure I did. Well, I know I did. Of course, I know I did. I watched it. That of course that was No One Will Save You. This was an FX film on Hulu. This one here got some good reviews leading into it. I was surprised, right? I'm thinking Hulu, straight to Hulu, here we go. But, I said the same thing with Prey. Of course, the Predator prequel, which was one of my favorite movies
That's
of the year.
true.
It's so
That's
good.
true.
I'm like, let's see. So I gave it this one here. Incredibly simple premise. This is an alien invasion film. This really is. Focusing on this one young woman who lives by herself. There's issues with her in the town she lives in. Something that occurred that she pretty much recluse. Not recluse. I'll take it back. No one really socializes with her, put it that way. One day, someone invades the house, ends up being an alien, and it goes from there. It becomes an alien invasion kind of film, and with I would say about maybe 10 seconds of dialogue. This is a virtually dialogue-free film. You don't see that very often, which is fascinating. And I gotta say, it worked. It was actually an interesting, well-made fun. It has some usual alien tropes. I get it, but her first encounter with the alien went away. I was like, okay, I like it. Where do we go from here? And then they went from there to give us more. I enjoyed it. Tense. The ending's a little off. They try to do too much. You had a simple game plan, right? Alien chase her down. She's just trying to survive, right? Doing what she can to survive. And they implement these issues with her guilt and grief or a situation happened in the past was unnecessary. Led to a kind of a weird ending, and I was a little let down by the ending. It should have ended at some point. I was like, the movie ends like this. Is the greatest movie of the year. It didn't. But fun. I enjoyed it. Entertaining. It's on Hulu. It's free. If I saw this in the theater, I would say watch it at home. Well, now it is at home, so I would say watch it. You like alien stuff. CGI is not the best, but again, it's a Hulu film, right? Let's be honest.
Well, one little correction. It's technically it's free on Hulu. But you have to get
well,
Hulu.
if you have Hulu, fair
So it's
enough.
not free. It might be free for you. Wink, wink.
I can't disagree with that statement. I'm saying I procured Hulu by other means. Maybe considered unsavory. Maybe it is considered savory. I don't know. I wouldn't say on the air. But that being said, if you have Hulu, you don't have to pay to see it. I enjoyed it. Good alien fun. It's got some good horror elements. It was really well paced and no dialogue. Those movies usually don't kind of work. It kind of did for this one. Not great. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever. Very cool. The ending's a little off. That's left interpretation. But yeah, I actually enjoyed this one. I'm actually going to recommend that one. I didn't think I was going to recommend it when I started watching it. So I guess you never know, right? It's not Prey. Let's just be perfectly clear on that. Prey was actually a very good film. This next one here, and we talked about shows ending its run, series finales, and there's another one's going to be added to that list. And of course, that's Sex Education, ending its 4-year run on Netflix. We got so many shows. Succession, Barry, Ted Lasso, Mrs. Never Have I Ever. Love that show.
Never Have I Ever.
Maisel. And I'm sure there's a couple I'm forgetting, but there's been a lot of shows. Just Jack Ryan. Right? And, this one I wasn't sad about, but Titans ended. Whatever. I'm not sure you were more a fan than I was. That's for sure.
Doom Patrol's ending.
That's ending pretty soon.
Sure.
So, a lot of shows have been dropping. It's kind of sucks. We haven't gotten the replacements needed to compensate. But that being said, this will add to the list, and this one I'm sad about because Sex Education was a really good show. We both really enjoyed it, and it's obviously gotten some good popularity as it's lasted 4 seasons on Netflix. That says a lot. That speaks to volumes as how people are watching the show. Basically, this is a show about young kids dealing with, of course, the pressures and awkward situations surrounding sex, right? From all angles, boy, girl, boy, boy, not transgender even. Doing all that, not afraid to really get into the subject matter, but still make it funny, raunchy, not young adult. This is anybody can watch this. I really enjoyed this show. Of course, here we got Otis, the main character. We got Maeve, and the one day will they kind of get together or not? Who knows? I love his friend Eric. He's great. He's Otis' best friend's main character. He's extra. I love that character. He's fantastic. Full of good characters. Such a good show. I've heard good things of how it ended. I'm about a little more than halfway through on this one. But thus far, yeah, man, it's living up to the hype. Really good show. It has a good heart. There's a I think I'm a 5 or 6 inch. I'm not sure how much you in, and I won't spoil this. But there's a scene about a funeral.
I'm 3 in.
Which is probably one of the best funeral scenes I've ever seen. Just in terms of they make it funny at times, but it gets sad as the funeral should be. Very heartwarming, just so well done. I was like, wow, what a great episode that was. Really good. Last couple episodes, I hope they don't screw it up. I doubt it from what I hear. Chewy, your thoughts on the passing of the show and what you threw in thus far? What are your thoughts on it?
No, man, I really like the show. I say it's highly sexualized. Um, my only issue with with this season, and maybe the way it was structured is written, this whole
The
college thing,
costing's a little
it's just
off. I'll give you
weird,
that.
man.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's more than a little off, dude. I'm like, what is this, man? They couldn't have come up with a better reason. At least a better representation. I mean, what school is this?
Those
Where
damn
is this? What
British, I
planet is
tell
this
you.
on, dude? I mean, geez Louise. I mean, it's already like hyper. I don't want to say exaggerated, but it's obviously a lot of emphasis in the
Of course, yeah.
LGBTQ community and with the parties and stuff. But did the school have to
The
be like
school is definitely
so
off.
fan- fanciful for fantasyful? I mean, it's like
The school is off, no doubt. I
ridiculous,
agree
man.
100%.
And so that's like the backbone of the main character is trying to become a student or young
Sex therapist. Hmm.
therapist, right? But it's just yeah, but it's just so it's just very disjointed with that school. Maybe the better thing like that prep school or maybe a more realistic
It's
college
fair.
setting, but that school is just I just like whatever.
I get it. It's fair. It's a little off-putting.
So if you can bypass that and still focus on his relationship and him trying to be a therapist and mending relationship with his previous girlfriend, was trying to go through his own hangups with May, who is obviously here in the U.S. in a much
Absolutely.
more realistic
No doubt
setting,
about
by the
that.
way. And obviously with his mom, because obviously the mom relationship plays a big part of this, where she's a mom again, right? Unwittingly, and her dealing with that, or not really, because she's a disaster when it comes to being a mom, a proper mom anyway. And the friendships and everything that goes on. So there's a lot happening, right? And because there's also the former headmaster of school, who's now a substitute teacher at this pseudo college, if you want to call it that, and trying to mend his relationship with his son, right? Who is vague by I'm not sure where he's landed on, but obviously that was a big part of the season. Is this
Yeah.
season three, right? Is this season four? Yeah. And so like I said, in a high school setting, it seems to work. In this
Yeah,
college
I
setting,
get
I don't
that.
know if
Yeah,
it's
I get
working
that.
for
But
me.
the
But
relationships, all that works. All that's still what we've grown and used to love, right? Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. Everything else
And
outside of
that's what the
that,
show really. It's
yes,
the focus of the
yes.
show, and that's really
So
doing well at
so
that. But very good. It's a show I
mm,
always recommend. I know it's 4 seasons, but I it is I know this never have I ever always kind of comparing with comedies dealing with teenagers and all that stuff. I thought this was a better show than the other one. The one's easier to watch because it's like 30 minutes. It's like 45, 50 minutes, 55 minutes. But it's good. It's a really good show. I highly recommend. It sucks to have it go because again, here's
mm.
another show. We lost two good shows on Netflix that I can think of now. I'm sure there's more that we really enjoyed over the last few years, and this is definitely one of them. But that being said, Chewy, let's stick with Netflix. Move on to Song of Bandits. This is a Korean show, a Western Korean show. You don't see that very
Mm-hmm.
often. Uh, yeah, this one here focusing
Period
on
piece, yeah.
a man who was a former slave, was in the Japanese army. Japan had, I guess, invaded Korea and taken over, I guess, the Japanese Empire. And he goes
Mm-hmm.
off to kind of
Mm-hmm.
he feels guilty over a situation that he was involved in when he was in the army. Goes to his death almost, right? Confesses to a guy to get killed, and he ends up becoming a freedom fighter to fight against the Japanese army. Gets his team together, team of bandits, and now there's train robberies and assassins and all that. Very interesting story. Chu, I'll let you go first as far as what you thought. I know you're not highly on the K drama genre overall. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, some of it is just
Fair,
plain garbage,
totally
but
fair.
whatever. This was fairly interesting. Like I said, it's more of a period piece,
Sure.
a little bit more historical than some of the other ones we've seen, where like the
More good.
Kingdom, which was completely fantasy, right? Even though it was set in medieval Korea, but
Oh,
the whole
obviously,
zombie thing was just okay.
of
This is
course.
all complete fantasy. And so, but I think the last one that I tried to saw was Moving. I like this more than Moving, because Moving is just too
Moving didn't
fucking
move.
long and slow and drawn out. Yeah,
Yeah.
for 20, and there's 20 episodes, so that tells you we're not in the age
Agreed.
where 20 episodes is gonna fly. So I want the story to be concise, focus on the characters, make me care, and be interesting, keep me entertained. And so this was keeping me entertained, right? It might be a tad slow still, and I think
How
this
many
is only
year?
8 episodes, not 20. But
Okay,
I
okay,
am. I've only seen
okay.
two, so so like the first one
Right,
was
first episode is
complete a
slow. It's a
setup,
setup episode.
all right, in his backstory. Second episode, then we meet when we kind of meet some of the characters in his team. But the second episode is where we really get into it. That whole fight scene with the Japanese army, I was
Yeah,
that was pretty cool, man.
it was really good too.
That was
Yeah.
some good action with the knives, the guns, everything, the fighting. So that was very cool. So I appreciated that. But like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure where I rank this yet. I have to probably watch the whole series to see where it stands with some of the other good or not so good K dramas we've seen. But
Yeah, man, I'm
I'll keep
enjoying this a
watching
lot.
till the
I think I'm four in, and yeah, first episode is a little slow. It's building up. It's fine, right? I don't care about that, right? Just how do you progress from there? Second one, really cool fight scenes. The fight scenes and all and overall are very cool. Very good action. This one, you'll
end.
see it later on. This scene on a train with the sandstorm, which is really cool. I enjoyed that. I love that second episode ended because it really set up
Mm,
this rivalry between the main character and this assassin that was trying to kill him. Has been trying to kill him, and there's this great editing when they're at least talking to someone else about the same uh, heist that they have to do, and the way to edit back and forth is really well done. It really picks up from there too. It's really good show. Very interesting. I like it. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not the greatest thing you've ever seen, obviously not, but definitely recommend for me. Like K drama, this is one because it's different. We don't see westerns, period, right, overall anymore. And I like a good western every so
mm,
often. And definitely not a Korean one. So it kind of melds some of those same things. It's a lawless land where you got bandits all over the place, Japanese army. So it kind of sets that up. But the action is modern, the way it's done and shot and filmed. Very cool action, gunplay, there's hand to hand and all that good stuff. Like the character, like the assassin character is very interesting. We get to learn more about her down, as the show progresses. Very cool show. I'm enjoying this one. Actually, pretty good. One of the better Korean shows we've seen recently. Not the best ones. It's not. You mentioned
mm.
Kingdom. Obviously, I thought that's a better show, but that was a great show. But it's very good. It's a good recommend. If you're like into that, I definitely recommend this one. It's actually very fun, entertaining, and different. So I'm enjoying it. This last one here is the one I was most excited about. That was the Continental, of course, on Peacock. It's a three
Mhm.
episode event, releasing one every week,
Peacock.
but almost movie length time episode. The first one's about an hour and 26
Mhm,
minutes, more or less. This, of course, is a backstory. Of course, those
mhm,
who like John Wick, as myself, I'm a huge John Wick fan, which is why I'm excited about this. This one tells the story of Winston, who's one of the main characters in the John Wick series, of course, who runs the Continental, the hotel, of course, in New York. I'm not going to go into it. You guys don't know what it is. Then don't bother. If you guys know John Wick, you know what the hell the Continental is. You should, by the way. This one I'm looking forward to. I was going to see what it's going to add to the lore, right? What it's going to explore with Winston. Not a huge fan of prequels to begin with. So I'm like, whatever. It's John Wick. I'll give it a shot. And I got to say, I'm disappointed. I The reviews weren't great leading into it. That's okay. Judge for myself. And yeah, this I like the idea. It just did not feel like John Wick at all, right? And I'm not saying it should be exactly like John Wick. I get it, but it's in the same world. You have to have the same vibe, the same style, the same look to kind of put you in that world, right? You don't have to do it exactly the same. Some of the fight scenes are only a couple in there, really. But the first one is really cool, by the way. With one of the main characters, who ended up being Winston's brother, the
mhm,
major player in the show, at least. I'll leave it at
mhm.
that. But yeah, I don't know. I just could not really get into the show, man. I don't know what the problem was. It just seems like I was watching something completely different than what's in the John Wick world. And what's great about John Wick is this mythology, this world they create, right? The world is the assassins and all this cool mythology, mythos it introduces in here. It didn't feel like it, and I was really having a hard time getting into it. It seemed a little bit long. Could it get better? I hope so. I'll keep watching because I'm a John Wick fan. But honestly, if I've never seen John Wick, I probably want to continue watching the show. To be honest, Chew, your thoughts on it?
So I like it so far. I see what you're saying, but not having that same John Wick vibe. Because John Wick
Sure.
focused on John Wick, right? And then we got all these ancillary characters and dark settings and what was going on, but the focus was him, right? His revenge.
Oh, obviously, right.
It's a revenge story, right?
Well,
At the end of the
this
day,
one may be too. This
and
one may
so
be
this is
too.
kind of introducing the world.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, maybe, but this is 40 at least 40 years before John
yeah.
Wick, right? Because
This is
John
this
Wick
is
is
70s.
contemporary,
Yeah,
and this is
yeah, 70s. Yeah,
early 70s. So
sure.
mid 70s, let's say mid 70s, right? And so it's a big jump, right? And how, whether, I don't know if you could say, well, it should be how John Wick
No,
was. Well, no, because
but
it's 40 years
I'm talking
prior.
about the
So,
feel. Like if you
you know,
right, like if I
the
told you
element, the
if you didn't
elements
know
are
what the show,
there, right?
if
The
you saw John Wick and I
table
said look
and
at this show and you just and this side by side, like this is in the same world. It just didn't seem like the vibe of the same world, right? And it didn't focus on this world building, which John Wick did so well, right? Even from the first film, introducing these elements, like, oh, this is cool, right? And he was just like, it's just like any other place, right? It's like any other crime family movie or whatever we see at the crime shows we've seen 1,000 times. There's nothing that made it stand out. John Wick was stood out because of those reasons. I mean, at its bare essence, it's a basic revenge story, nothing special. Let's not kid ourselves, right? But it was cool as shit, right? The coins and people who clean up and
yeah, the whole
exactly,
history
that
of who
was
he
fascinating.
was,
We just don't
right?
get any of that here, and that's the disappointing part, you know.
Well, very,
And
very,
right,
very little because and he's trying to find his brother, but like there's a couple scenes where like with the police, they kind of know, right, but they
right.
don't come out and say it, right? They know what to avoid and not to go into the
Yes,
hotel and
these
stuff because
detectives
obviously
are what is one
it's
trying to
it's
investigate
it's
it, which is look. I
yes.
mean, look, John Wick
Mhm.
was a world within its own, within its own, right? There was no ties to reality. It almost feels like a fantasy because you don't see real people. You don't see normal people around
Yeah,
everywhere.
because there was
Right, no
never ever
police,
police
and that,
anywhere.
but
There's shootouts on
yeah,
every street,
yeah.
and no
Well,
one
in
is
the
there to
first one,
help,
there's
man.
that
No
cop
one
that
is
knows
there
John
to.
Wick, and he's like, oh, okay. Like he
Oh,
knows,
well, he
like,
comes in. It's like, yeah,
oh, okay,
are you
right,
working
exactly. But
again? Yeah,
other than
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you don't see this outside world, right? And here you're kind of giving us that.
Mhm.
I don't think it lends itself to that. You could have taken that part out of the show, and I've been totally fine. It may lead to something, obviously, because they're introducing it, but is it necessary? Probably not, because John Wick was never
Mhm.
about, for me, the outside was just the world that we have here with this, this is a Lord of the Rings of action films, right? Just a different world, different time almost. And the show just felt too real, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. But
And
like I
the
said, it
action
still
was
had
fine.
some
Yeah.
very good action.
The action was really
That
good. That was
opening,
really
that
cool.
opening sequence
Yeah.
with the whole
That was
train
cool.
breaking into the
Yeah.
vault, and then the shootout up the stairs, and using the box not just as a gimmick, but as a tool, right?
That was a
He's
John
shooting
Wick.
and
That was the
fighting.
John Wick
I will say he does
action
he
film.
does
Where, yeah.
he does waste a lot of bullets. John Wick is
Of
very
course.
much more
Oh,
efficient. One to the body, one to the head. This guy's doing multiple. Dude, all you need is one shot to the head. You don't hit him twice or three times
double
and
tap. Did double
headshot,
tap.
dude. He's dead.
No, but
Okay,
that was
but
a cool scene.
whatever.
That got me excited. So I was like, oh man, yeah.
Save
I got
save your
excited because
ammo,
I saw the
dude.
first scene. I'm like, oh, this is
Save
gonna be
your
really fucking
ammo.
awesome. Like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. But then it just never
Mm.
lived up to the heights it built up in the first opening scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
until
was
the end
fine.
with
That was
the whole
fine.
chase
Yeah,
and
that was
then
fine. Yeah, not
going
great. That
up
was
to the
fine.
helicopter, right? Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not off it. I'm gonna continue. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. Right? Maybe the second episode it picks up now that
Mhm.
the stakes have been set. Right? The flag has been planted as far as okay, this is how the story's gonna go, kind of. Right? But it's
Mhm.
fine. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I'll put it that way, right? And it's just it just made victim
That's
of
fair enough.
expectations.
That's
Sometimes you
fair.
want it to be great because you love something. You're like,
Yeah, the
right,
bar. John Wick
exactly.
set the bar
When you don't
very
meet
high,
you're gonna
very
people are gonna
high.
be like, it's not John Wick, and I get it. I don't blame people for saying that. If that's their gripe, one of the gripes, I completely agree. Right, this is the first thing that ever came out with John Wick World. We probably look at it differently, right? But it's not. So I have expectations. All these other things that you're trying to create. The bar's been set. The bar's here. Get as close. You don't have to pass it. You have to get to it. Just get as close. This is not close to John Wick. As far as it's not. It's not saying it's bad. It's just not as good as that. So
Agreed.
I don't know. I guess whatever. I always say give it a shot. Whatever. You judge for yourselves. Ultimately, just taper the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You may think it's great, but I guarantee you, I don't think anyone going to
Mm-hmm.
say this is as good as John Wick. That's very clear, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. But yeah, so whatever. A little bit let down, to be perfectly honest with you. Not a terrible show, at least not yet. Maybe the last two episodes are awful. I don't know. Will remain to be seen. Maybe we'll discuss it. When we come back in a few weeks. But speaking of few weeks, let's get into what's coming out to you in the next few weeks, and I'll let you chime in with the third week since we're not doing a show for 3 weeks actually. But this week, the next 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
like we talked about things kind of slowing down a bit, and we're seeing some of that. More season 2, 3s, or continuations of series as opposed to new shows dropping. Not necessarily a bad thing, but let's start off first with a documentary, Encounters, right, on Netflix, Chewy. This one here is that show
Yes,
about
UFO
UFO
encounters.
encounters.
Yeah,
I guess people who've claimed to have encountered them or whatever, stories of this. Yeah,
yeah, clean,
I like
half,
aliens stuff. So
whatever. Yeah.
what the hell? There's a lot of stuff for me. I'm taking a long trip, so a lot of
Mhm.
stuff I get to watch in the plane. There I'm back. Second one is one of Chewie's favorites. Whatever. Lego Masters. That's on the 28th. I call that some Fox. I love Lego as much as the
Season
next guy.
four.
Don't get me
We're needing
wrong.
for season five.
I'm just
Don't
saying,
hate it. Don't
whatever it is,
hate,
Lego,
dude. Don't
fine.
hate.
People, I love Will
Will
Forte.
Forte,
Don't
dude.
get me
Great
wrong, I do. I'm
host.
a big fan. So whatever, that's coming out 28th for those who are interested in that. Castlevania, of course, on the 28th, also on Netflix.
No,
Um,
no, do the math.
yeah, new
The
series,
new
of
new
course.
Pennsylvania
The
series.
first Castlevania series was surprisingly good on Netflix. Right, it's one of the first times we saw Netflix really go into this
Mm-hmm.
animation and succeed. Really cool. I like the Castlevania. If you're a fan of that, anything that you know anything about Castlevania is based off a game. Um, is a cool watch. Definitely a cool watch. So I definitely recommend that. The 29th, we have a movie called Reptile. I think Chewie had the 7th. It's actually the 29th. This one's starring
Yes,
Benicio del
correct. Yeah.
Toro. Justin,
Benicio del
yeah, Primo, of
Toro.
course.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake,
Primo.
right? This is the one he's in. Yeah, I think Alicia Silverstone
Yes,
here.
that's correct. Yes.
She's trying to eat. Yeah, she's trying to eat again. So good for
Yeah,
her.
I
So
believe
this is
so.
kind
She's
of
eating
a
again.
thriller, kind of cop drama, I guess, something like that. Looks interesting. But again, it's a Netflix movie, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Roll the die.
Buyer beware.
Who knows what's coming up? So whatever. But I'll definitely check it out. This one, of course, is one that Chewie is itching for, and I can't lie, we all should be itching for, as I am too. That's Gen V. Of course, the Boys spin-off show on Amazon. We love the Boys, one of our favorite shows, right? Chewie, am I
Mm-hmm.
wrong? Yeah, I know you're definitely, yeah, definitely looking for
Absolutely,
this.
man. Hello.
A story about focusing on the college, or a school for those who have powers, something like that.
That's
And
correct.
this,
Mm-hmm. Got
of course, of
number
course.
of cameos that we're looking forward to from the main show, and this will lead into
Ah,
season
I didn't know
four
that part. I didn't know that.
of The
Okay.
Boys.
Oh,
It
I
ties
definitely
in
didn't
all
know that.
night
Okay, well,
together.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you've seen the trailer. It has the same references, same graphic nature as
Oh
the
my
Boys.
God!
So
Holy
yeah,
cow!
but and I know I know we can't talk about it next week, but I am getting to see this early. I'm watching first few episodes on the big screen. And I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm going to do a review, a special watch list edition of Gen V. I believe Wednesday night I'll have my review of Gen V, if it's worth it, if this Continental or is this legit stuff. So let's see. I'm excited about this one. Playing on a big
Mhm.
screen would be kind of cool. Quantum Leap comes out on the October 4th. There's the following week. Cause season 2. I was
Season
off it. I'm
two.
not sure you're a fan of the show. It didn't work for me. Not the worst
Mm-hmm.
thing I've ever seen, but it just didn't work for me. But the season 2 fans, why not? On Coach Chewy's, you talk about he's excited for Gen V. Multiply by 50, and you get his excitement level for A Flag Means Death on Max
Oh
season
gosh!
2.
Ugh. Oh,
Talk about a show
this
that should
should be
get
the final
canceled.
season, but
Is
whatever.
this is not a Sunday night show? It's a
No,
Thursday show.
no, it's
Okay, Thursday
a
show. So
Thursday, I
listen,
believe.
a lot of people like this show. Obviously, I wasn't one of them. Chewy, I know you weren't one of them. I love Taika, I really do, but this didn't work for me. But if it works for you, good for you. The second season's coming out, no doubt. On the 5th, we got Lupin. Lupin, of course, the third part. French American show, but Lupin, who is a thief,
Sacrement.
chameleon of sorts, getting all kinds of shenanigans. I like the first 2 seasons of Lupin. It's not a great show, but it's a fun show, right? It's an entertaining show.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good caper. It's I'm all, what Rick and Morty, the what do they say when there's a heist? Oh damn! I'm in. Whatever they
Oh,
say. Son of a bitch. I'm in. Right.
you
I'm
son of
in.
a
Exactly.
bitch!
There we go. Thank you.
I'm in.
So Lupin season 3 or part 3, whatever you want to call it, that comes out. Looking forward to that. Of course, on Netflix on the 5th. Same day. This is an unusual release. Usually it's Wednesdays, sometimes Tuesdays. We got Disney now releasing on Thursday, and that's Loki season 2. I will be
Mm-hmm.
excited, but it
Season
says
two.
Marvel and Disney before the name Loki, so why would anybody be excited? I'm just
Oh,
let's be
stop it,
honest. And
dude!
I like season
Stop
one. I
it!
do like
Stop
season
it,
one.
dude!
Um,
I liked season one a
no, I
lot. I
like
went
it.
back and
For me, that's
rewatched it. I
been
liked it even
the best
more
show they've done.
after
It's been this one, so
rewatching
that's
it.
the only reason why I'm still excited. Yeah, yeah,
Probably
without question. I
from
mean,
beginning
yeah,
to
this one
end,
is.
yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the shows that they've done, but this one was good. Dude, yeah. Come on, man. You had no
That was
issues
okay. It
with
didn't end
Falcon
great.
Winter
It didn't
Soldier.
end great. It
Stop it,
was fine.
okay?
I'm not saying
Okay,
the shows are
all
terrible.
right.
The only terrible shows they had are
But
She-Hulk
still,
and Hawkeye. Just like
okay,
crap.
okay.
just garbage. The rest has they've been okay, but nothing to say to get me excited. Right? Like if I told you a new Boys is coming out, you're gonna get excited, and you should be, right? Because we've gotten 3 great seasons of The Boys. Marvel hasn't given us great seasons of anything, right? Consistently. So that's why I'm saying I want to watch it. I look forward to it. I'm just not excited. There's a difference. But I like season 1 of Loki, so hopefully season 2 picks up where that left off. I'm looking forward to that. And then on the 7th show I don't watch, I know you have, and that's the Elite on Netflix. 7
season.
I think it's
I can't remember what season this is. I lost track. Last season.
Is this
it's been going on for a while. It's a very popular Spanish international show.
Final season, so it is not a final season. I don't know. You told me.
I don't know, but I thought it was final season 3 seasons ago.
Okay.
And they keep reviving it. So
whatever.
New characters.
People watch it, obviously. You get season 7 on Netflix unless you're watching it, right? I mean, so yeah, and it's a national show, so I'm sure it draws big numbers overseas, even if not here. So yeah, I know you enjoy it. So that one's
absolutely
for those who watch it. So the next couple weeks, again, a lot of just secondary seasons, not original shows. I don't think there's any show original or Gen V. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's a spin-off.
Season 1 and casting anything else, whatever. So interesting. So again, we can talk about some of these shows. Maybe we'll if they're that good. But the third week, when I hear, we're gonna be we're not here to let you know what's coming out for the third week. But true, what are some of the shows? Just a couple of shows you mentioned that are coming out in 3 weeks. So we're talking about the week from October 11th to the 15th, more or less.
Yeah.
What show was that came to mind?
So there was a Shining Veil, which is season 2 on Stars, which stars what's her name from Friends, Courtney Cox and Greg Kinnear, right? So I think we liked season 1, right? Lewis story, but yeah, that comes out season 2 again, continuation, nothing original. What were some of the other ones that came out the week after? Well, Rick and Morty comes out.
Soon after
that weekend.
I think it's around
the 17th.
Weeks, but look out for that's on the radar. House of Usher, you mentioned, right?
Yes, absolutely. House of Usher, which is a limited series on Netflix, which comes out that week, which already has very highly reviewed. So Mike Flanagan back at his usual shenanigans, and it's working. It's just a very, very good reviews.
I'm looking forward to this.
Looks very interesting. Get you in the mood for I think this has a little bit of American Horror Story, but looks way better, much more interesting.
He gave us House on Haunting Hill.
Yes,
it's going to bring a really good show on Netflix.
Yeah, so gave us the other vampire one. Which one was it? I can't remember.
I like that one a lot. I know you talked Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass, which was great, man. That was a great show.
Really good show.
Like
that. That's what Mike Flanagan. I'm in. Just by the name alone, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot. So there's a couple of the ones that are coming out. We'll talk about those shows when we come back in about 3 weeks on all that to discuss those. That being said, you got a lot of you guys play over the next few weeks. Enjoy a lot of the shows out there. A lot of stuff ending. It is what it is. Never let anybody tell you there's nothing to watch. That's nonsense. There's always something to watch. May not be good, but there's always something to watch. But there's always good stuff on the watch. Don't get me wrong. You can watch Monday through Tuesday through Saturday when there's no NFL going on. That makes you feel better. That being said, we'll see you guys in 3 weeks. Subscribe, share, like the video. We appreciate it. Every Sunday we drop the show. We'll be back in a few weeks to get you guys caught up on your own watch list. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.